How influential were your studies in terms of pursuing your career ambitions?
After I came back from the Royal College of Music in London, I worked in New York. I was a jobber. I did a variety of different jobs. Sometimes you play in the New Jersey Symphony, sometimes you play at a ballet company, you had I had a quartet I put together. So I was just doing a variety of things, and I had a fellowship at Tanglewood one summer, a couple of years later, and one of my favorite things at Tanglewood was going and watching the great conductors rehearse the Boston Symphony. And I had friends in the Boston Symphony, so I would go and hang out backstage. And I noticed there were all these men who walked around who were dressed differently from everybody else, and they wore suits. And they looked really important. And they seemed to sort of control things. And so I said, well, who are these guys? And I remember being told, and it's one word, the management. That's the management. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because I was the person in my quartet making the deals, negotiating the contracts. And the more I thought about it, I thought, I would really like to try that. And that was it. I knew that, in a way, it was everything, all of my music study, all of the other things I'd thought about. And as passionate as I felt about music, I felt a real passion for enabling musicians and music to really live.
Do you find that even though you're not a practicing or performing musician, that you still think and act like a musician?
Well, I would always tell people I'm a musician. That's what I think of myself as. Mm-hmm. Because when I'm looking at a really thorny problem, I approach that just the way I approached learning a really difficult piece. And so I remember once I was trying to learn a Hindemith unaccompanied sonata, and I just literally, I couldn't play a note of it, and I was with my teacher, and I said, I just can't play this at all. So he finally said, can you play one note? And so I picked like a C. Okay, I can play this note. And he said, okay, play that note. And he said, okay, now can you play the note next to it? So actually I could do that, and eventually I was able to construct how to play the piece and learn through that discipline. And I think that when I have to solve a problem today, I think I still approach it very much in that way.
So you were at New York Philharmonic for quite some time.
10 years.
10 years.
I always say when I got the job, I was like in my 30s. No woman had ever run one of the major orchestras in the United States, if you can believe it. So I thought, okay, this is like becoming president of Harvard. I will do this the rest of my life. This is great. I'm on top of the world. Things went well, but I felt I was sort of in a box that was closing in on me each year. One morning, I pick up the newspaper, this Saturday morning, and it's a picture of a new symphony hall that's going to be built in Los Angeles, and it's called the Walt Disney Concert Hall. And it was designed by somebody named Frank Gehry, and I looked at it, and I just thought, this is the single most beautiful building I have ever seen in my life. Notre Dame, any other thing you think, this is it for me. 2 years later, I got a call from the chairman of the board of the Los Angeles Philharmonic saying that they really wanted me to come and take the job. We'll negotiate the contract with you right now. So I said, well, I'm going on vacation. I don't know. I'm going up to an island off the coast of Maine. They said, we'll fly there. Well, so then they had Frank Gehry call me.
Frank Gehry called
Frank Gehry called me. He said, I'm going to get on a plane and come see you. So at any rate, I went out and I met Frank, and I just thought, I'm at a point in my life where I'm young enough. I've got a lot of energy. And I thought I could actually make a difference here. I could make a difference. So I loaded up my covered wagon and moved out west.
Were there any skills that you felt helped you in particularly adapting every single time to all these different environments and different cities, different cultures, if you will?
I only do what only I can do, and the rest I will get other people to do. And that is a critical, I think, aspect of being a CEO, because one can be sucked into the vortex of answering 100 emails a day and micromanaging, and that's not how you get to the bigger vision of accomplishment. And when you look at really successful executives, they're rarely micromanagers. It's a sense of prioritizing and resource allocation. And some people are better at it than others. And I think those are the people who can help to form that vision that leads their organizations forward.